All right, you are going to be live, and let's see, about 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Human Relations Department. I am Vice Chair Willie Davis. I will go ahead and call this meeting to order, if we can. I'd like to start out by, if it's okay with Manager Race McCray, go ahead and call this meeting to order and start out by having a roll call. So let's make sure everyone here, see who's here. Is that okay with you, Race?
That sounds perfect. And thank you, Vice Chair Davis, for filling in today since our one of our members is absent. So I'm going to start with a roll call. First, we're going to do Commissioner Barker.
Here.
Commissioner Clark is absent. Commissioner Davis.
Here.
I guess I should say Vice Chair Davis, but thank you.
It's all right.
Commissioner Iqbal.
Here.
Commissioner Jones is absent. Commissioner McGregor.
Here.
And Commissioner Price is also absent. Okay, so we have 4 commissioners in attendance, and then we also are joined by Mr. Hollis, Mr. Biggs, and myself, Mr. McCray. I will be taking minutes for the day because we are also absent in administrative support in the Human Relations Office, and we also have Council Member Johnson as well. I believe that's the full attendance. Thank you for that, and back to you, Vice Chair Davis.
Thank you. Like this next thing we're going to do is everyone had a chance to look over last minutes, our human resource retreat minutes. Have everyone had a chance to review those? If you haven't, we take a few minutes to look over them, see if there's any corrections that needs to be made or any mistakes. Has everyone had a chance to look at it, or do we need a few minutes?
I'll be honest, I have not looked at them.
You want to take a quick minute to look at it?
I just have to find them.
Yes, ma'am.
Does anybody remote have where they can share their screen?
I'm sure they are perfect.
Let me see, I think I can pull it up.
If you send them to me, Race, I'll share them. If you can.
Okie dokie, I can do that.
Can we?
Mr. Vice Chair. Yeah, Mr. Vice Chair, what we're gonna try to do is see if we can, for those that don't have them, we're gonna just see if we can share the document so they can see them on the screen and just take a look at them. And that way, because I know that I know Commissioner Barker has a high degree of confidence in their accuracy and validity, but we just want to make sure she can put her eyes on them.
I just forwarded those to you.
Okay, bear with me 1 second.
That'll teach me to go on vacation.
Okay. Let's see. Can you see them?
Yes. Well, we can see your screen.
Okay.
They're kind of hard to read right now.
It is?
It's just that you only have the attachment. You need to open the attachment.
Yep. We can see your email with the attachment, not the actual attachment.
Oh, I moved it over to that screen. What about now?
There you go.
There you go.
All right.
Much easier to read now.
I know, I know.
Looks good. See, they were perfect.
Okay. So with that being said, we'll go ahead and take a vote. Does anyone, if everyone agrees that anyone approve of the minutes, let's go start by saying aye with the roll call again.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, if maybe you ask for a motion.
Oh God, that's right. I forgot. Excuse me. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes? I'm sorry. Thank you.
I'll make the motion to approve the minutes. This is
Can I get a
Commissioner
second?
Barker.
Can I get a second?
A second.
So
Who's that? Who's that? The second?
Commissioner Iqbal.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we have a motion and we have a second. Can we go ahead and vote?
I'll read a roll call vote then. So we have a motion to approve the minutes from Commissioner Barker, seconded by Commissioner Iqbal. So go ahead and say aye if you approve, and I'll read them off one by one. I'll begin with Vice Chair Davis,
Aye.
Commissioner Iqbal,
Aye.
Commissioner McGregor,
Aye.
and Commissioner Barker.
Aye.
The minutes then have been approved by a vote of 4. All 4 commissioners in attendance voted 4-0. And so we're able to approve the minutes.
Okay. The next thing I'd like to move on to is our Fair Housing Committee. I'll talk about that. And with that, I'm gonna turn it over to our new manager, Mr. McCray, Race McCray.
Thank you, Vice Chair Davis. There's a lot of great discussion happening and energy happening around the Fair Housing Subcommittee right now. I do apologize, though, that in terms of forming it and getting together, it's been a little hindered by our staffing changes of me coming into this position. But I still think we've made some good progress. In the minutes, we talked about that at this meeting, we would present kind of our idea for what this subcommittee's work would look like. So in particular, the kind of topics that we'd be addressing so that the commission could review those. And if there's any feedback you'd like to offer on what this structure might look like. We're envisioning this as approximately 4 or 5 workshops. This will be attended by community or by members of the subcommittee from the commissioners, as well as will be joined at various meetings by community representatives. These will be representatives of housing folks such as realtors or landlords or maybe a member of an HOA, something like that. And also will be represented by some folks in the city, in our community development, legal efforts, things like that. So those topics that we were looking at is that we would begin with a Fair Housing 101, kind of describing what is happening or what does fair housing look like? What does an organization look like if we become a fair housing assistance program? Things like that. as well. Then we would move on. And the next workshops, which we don't have a specific order to, which I'm going to talk about in a second about what that means, but would probably include a workshop on the structure and ordinance of a fair housing assistance program. So what kind of ordinance would need to be passed, what kind of laws would need to be passed basically by the city council, and how would that relate to federal law to be federally equivalent is the term we use. And then also what would the structure of an organization look like, which essentially kind of gets to the day-to-day of what that might be. Another topic that we're looking at is kind of the legal aspects of this process. So we might, for example, bring in a lawyer to talk about when you're a fair housing assistance program, what legal considerations need to be taken into account. So this might be, kind of legal advice that would be offered, what kind of legal, processes are involved, what kind of forms of conciliation are available that a lawyer would need to weigh in on, things like that. We would also offer a workshop on hypotheticals, perhaps, that this would be like hypothetical situations that then a fair housing assistance program would work with. So that might be, what happens if someone comes in with this kind of concern, or things like that. And then also a forum dedicated to addressing community concerns, especially since we are involving these community members. We wanted to have a specific forum where they could provide feedback. This would be as needed. We do want to get feedback, but that, of course, the feedback could come up organically along the process. So there may not be a further need for a specific forum, but this would be, those housing providers who have attended this subcommittee, what are they seeing? What are they saying? How can we, be informed as possible? So that's kind of the gist of what that would look like. The reason we don't have an order for this, and this is a little bit informative for those of you who are on the subcommittee as well, is that for some of these, we will be bringing in local experts who know this material. Like I said, for the legal aspects, we might be bringing in a lawyer who has worked with fair housing cases before. And therefore, when that is presented might be dependent on what the availability and scheduling for that law professional would be. We don't want to lock us into this is the way it has to be done, and then we find out that no one is available on that date. I think that kind of covers it. Mr. Hollis or Mr. Biggs, would you like to weigh in on that at all?
Thank you, Race. That was a really good summary. And I think as we develop some of those topics or subject areas, maybe there could be a session where two of those would be covered at once, just depending. But that gives you an idea of the kinds of things, scope of where we'd have for the conversation. Whatever those, we're working diligently now to reach out to the folks that we would have participating. So as soon as we have those confirmed dates, whatever they are, we want to get those out to the commission and the committee participants as quickly as possible. I'm thinking that these could be virtual meetings, much like this. We'll look into some of the technology of broadcasting these meetings with public participation. I don't think we'd have any issues with the technology side. We'd have, much like this, people who are able to view only and then active participants like we are here. So I don't think there are any numbers constraints with the number of people that we bring in. I mean, we're not talking about bringing in dozens of people, but it would be what we envision is that we'd have the core group of people that would be in each session. And then we'd have subject matter experts as needed topically. And then those would probably form out those 4 or 5 sessions, whatever it would be. But I think that clarification is helpful. Are there any questions or comments about the structure, what we're doing? I don't know if Councilmember Johnson, Jelani, if you have anything you want to add, any other commissioners, please do so at this time.
I have a question. I thought it was explained extremely well. And having sat in similar type sessions, especially when you bring in people with subject matter expertise. It's often helpful, if you can, to have formulated Q&As in advance to prep people for those sessions to get the most out of it, so that the people listening aren't just trying to, consume everything, that they have a chance to look at and formulate their questions in advance. And I have found that that helps make the most of those meetings, as well as that subject matter expert's time.
That's a great observation. Commissioner Barker, we'll definitely take that into account and incorporate it as best we can. Thank you.
Mr. Hollis, I did not speak up before, but I'm very interested in being on the subcommittee for fair housing.
Okay.
If it's still available.
Yeah, I defer to Mr. McCray as far as reaching out to you and getting that list. But yes, I don't think that would be a problem at all.
Absolutely. Commissioner McGregor, I will make sure to include you on any future updates and communications.
Thank you.
Manager McCray, awesome job with being very detailed. I can't even add anything else to it. And you've done a very detailed job in bringing it out. I'm very excited about the talks. We did mention it on this week in regards to City Council. So just to kind of let everyone know. So Mr. Manager McCray was correct. The buzz is going, the talking is definitely, we're talking about it now. So I'm excited to see the outcome, definitely.
And this is Commissioner Barker. One other thing, since it sounds like there would be I can't even speak, sorry, be a series of meetings. Do we have a repository where we can go and access the documents or whatever, just so we can keep everything straight? Because this is a lot of information to consume, and we'll need to analyze and synthesize it as we move forward. Again, you may already have a repository where the information is kept, and it may be a bigger question for this committee overall, is do we have a place to store things that are easily accessible?
Well, Jelani, if you can speak to that for a second, and then Race, you might have some thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Sure. The only thing I would add to that, Kim, is yes, we as we develop what will be presented, and I'll defer to Manager McCray as we develop the timeline and scope and scale of what those presentations will look like. Internally, of course, we do have documents and information that we compile in respect to these presentations and meetings. But if you are mentioning something that could be accessed by the commission, I think that's feasible. I think that's realistic, that if we are going to be presenting information that could be accessed by our attendees and the commissioners as a whole.
We would look slick.
That's right.
The only thing I'd add is that, like you say, this is a complex topic, and one of our key, goals in this presentation is clarity, because we know that an informed citizenry is is the key to understanding all the benefits and complexities of this. So I think that's a great suggestion, Commissioner Barker, and we will absolutely look into how to best make that possible. I'm sure that we will be sharing resources. Yeah. It's just what's the most accessible way that really makes it easy to refer to.
Thank you. Because if we do this right, we'll be creating a communication plan as we go with the key documents and pulling it in. So at the end, we don't have to go back and recompile. Mm-hmm. It's just building it as we go and getting feedback as far as, like you said, Race, clarity, to make sure everyone understands the different aspects.
Thank you, Commissioner Barker. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, if I'm leaving something off the list. So what I'm envisioning is that as we have these sessions, the sessions themselves are available if a commissioner or a member of the public wants to go back and review something that was said. If there are documents if it's a PowerPoint, if the documents that are shared, that those documents be in a central location where people can access those. I think, is that sort of in line with what you're, okay.
Yep. Yep, and all geared towards clarity, because this could easily get misunderstood at different parts. And it'll be a good double check for us to make sure that we're being clear moving forward, especially with the people that we're serving.
Were there any other observations on the fair housing topic? We've covered a lot of preliminary items and some next steps, and we've received some good suggestions. Anything else anybody wants to say on the fair housing education topic? Anything? Well, Mr. Vice Chair.
Okay, well, I really appreciate all the comments and the answers from everyone. Next, on our agenda, we're gonna move on to our homework hangout. And again, I'm gonna turn this over to Manager McCray.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Davis. And as I mentioned before, but to reiterate, the homework hangout is benefited most by being in person. So we've worked at this before, and our goal all along is to have a plan in place by the time we're able to implement this. With new CDC guidance that just came down today, that has not yet even been implemented. Obviously, we're looking at a possibility that this could be soon. What does that mean, though? For us, our expectation is that the earliest this would happen would be the beginning of the next school year. So all along, we're moving towards August or September beginning. If we don't make that, we'll address that at the time. But as such, the housing or the updates for the homework hangout today are minimal, since we can't make massive progress at the moment. We have been researching possible site selection. I know that we had addressed this before, that we are looking as a council or as a commission into ways that are like places where this is already offered homework assistance, so that we could try to identify underserved areas. I have also been reaching out to community partners, such as United Way, Boys and Girls Club, things like that, other folks who just are aware of what's happening. Michelle McNair is another good example. And I'm compiling that. I don't have major updates today, but I am hoping to produce a map of some locations, unless we identify a perfect location, in which case I will bring it back to the commission and propose it for approval. As of yet, though, we have not found the perfect site selection, and progress continues.
This is Vice Chair Davis. I do have a question for Manager McCray, or either Mr. Biggs, Jelani Biggs. I know you were saying that it may be the beginning of next year before we can get this started. But have we even looked at or considered the possibility of maybe doing it for the summer? Because I know a lot of schools right now are going to do a summer program. Have we even thought about that or looked at that?
I'll just note that I think our concern was that as a local government, we didn't want to take anything that would put our residents at risk. And so we have not, because we've wanted to be playing it safe. All of our decisions to be in person or not are with state guidance, which has so far not been advocating for in-person programs yet. Even with the, for those who are not aware, what I'm referring to is the CDC announced that those who have been vaccinated do not necessarily need to wear masks in most situations. There's some little nuance there that I'm glossing over, but that also comes at the same time as the Pfizer vaccine was only recently approved for folks under 18. So there's still a lot of uncertainty in terms of what is safe. And as a local government, we would want to make sure that safety is our priority. So we have not been looking at it as a summer program as of yet. If things get more safe, we would, of course, consider it.
Okay, still too soon. All right, thank you for that, Manager McCray. Anyone else have any comments or questions? about the homework hangout? Anyone else? Okay. Well, next on our agenda, we're gonna move along, see if anyone has anything they would like to add or any comments or anything like that with something that's going on or any questions. Any announcements they like to make? Anyone?
So I do have to announce one important thing. Our chair, Commissioner Bandari, has resigned from the commission. And we really appreciate, I just want to note while we're on the call today that we really appreciate Commissioner Bandari's service. He's been an excellent resource. He's just made a decision that it's best for him right now to resign from the commission. And we, of course, are sorry to see him go and wish him all the best. I think that all of you have seen that Mr. Bandari has, been a devoted servant to the community. He has brought a lot of energy and excitement to this commission. And of course, also a lot of great comments and developments as we've been working on programs and initiatives. So I want to thank him for his service. He's not here. We've already thanked him via email as well, but I just want that to be in the public record that we are extremely proud of all the work he's done and are sorry to see him go.
Mr. Vice Chair, if I may,
Go ahead.
we definitely don't want to take for granted the time and energy that our commissioners take in order to make these meetings work. There are some demands on time regarding, the time that we're here for these scheduled meetings and things that are done in between those times. And sometimes the challenging schedules or other parts of life kind of pulling in different directions. So we do value and appreciate your time and commitment and your participation, because we know that there are probably a half dozen other things that you could be doing. So we do appreciate the effort and energy from our commissioners.
Yes. Okay.
And I'll just, add the last little bit of that, which is, of course, that since I resigned from the commission to ultimately, become the manager, and then now with Dev, Mr. Bandari also having resigned, there are commission positions open. And there is a way to apply for those positions on our website, the city website. You can apply to be on a board or a commission. If you all, as amazing commissioners yourselves who have an understanding of the work that we are doing, and if you would like to, mention that to friends, to people who you respect and know are doing good work in the community, and who would probably be willing to take on this extra work and this role in giving back, please be aware that that's out there. You feel free to recommend them. Ultimately, council is who appoints all of the commissioners, as you well know, but they like to have a pool of people who have applied. They will be considered by council members, potentially as among many other ways that those decisions get made.
All right. Thank you very much. Any other comments or announcement anyone would like to make?
Yeah, if I might add, this is Councilman Johnson. Again, to echo what has already been said, that definitely we appreciate, and we probably do not say that enough, speaking on the behalf of myself and the entire city council, we do appreciate your time that you give, and that the dedication that you all give to this committee. We definitely appreciate it, and I'm sure our citizens appreciate it. And so thank you again from the bottom of our hearts. And to echo what Manager McCray said, definitely, if you are interested, definitely submit your interest, and the council will definitely be looking at those. Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? Anyone have any announcement or comments they'd like to make? Okay. Well, I'd like to say thank you for everyone for being here tonight and sharing your time. Like Jerron said, was other things that I'm sure you could be doing, but I'd like to thank you for your commitment and your time. And with that being said, if no one else have any comments or announcement, I'd like to move on to see if I can get a motion to adjourn. Hello?
I make a motion to adjourn.
I second it.
Okay, so I'll provide a roll call vote again. So just to confirm, Commissioner McGregor has made a motion to adjourn and Commissioner Barker has seconded that motion. So I will make a roll call vote now. Commissioner Iqbal,
Aye.
Commissioner McGregor,
Aye.
Commissioner Barker,
Aye.
and Vice Chair Davis.
Aye.
Then the motion to adjourn has been approved by 4-0. And that is it.
Thanks, Brandon Cook, for all your hard work.
Like your
Alrighty.
haircut, Race.
Thank
Thank
you.
everyone.
Everyone have a good
Bye-bye.
evening.
Have a good evening.
All right, good evening.
Bye.